Imagine being only 20 years old and suddenly ruling one of the biggest kingdoms in the world. That's what happened to Alexander the Great. This guy wasn't just a king. He led his army across deserts and mountains, fighting battles from Greece all the way to India. Legends say he never lost a single battle, and his soldiers were so loyal that they'd follow him anywhere he went. Alexander met all kinds of people, from Persian emperors to Egyptian priests, and even named over 20 cities after himself, including Alexandria in Egypt, which is still around today. Some people say he wanted to be a god. Others say he just wanted to see what. Did you know Halo almost never became the game we know today? Back in the late 90s, a small team at Bungie, led by Jason Jones, was working on a sci-fi shooter. But it was a third-person game for Macintosh computers, not Xbox. Steve Jobs himself even introduced the original footage at Macworld in 1999, thinking it would be a Mac exclusive. But in 2000, Bill Gates and Microsoft swept in and bought Bungie, shifting everything. Suddenly, Halo was reworked into a first-person shooter and became the main launch title for the original Xbox, making legends like Master Chief and Cortana possible. Imagine a world in chaos, old empires crumbling as angry crowds fill the streets. In Russia, 1917, Lenin seizes his moment, leading the Bolsheviks to topple the Tsar and unleash a new order. Over in China, Mao Zedong is rallying peasants, promising land and hope. And by 1949, his Red Army sweeps to victory. In Cuba, Fidel Castro and Che Guevara are hiding in the mountains, plotting revolution. Did you know that nearly a third of the world's people lived under communist rule by the 1970s, all inspired by Marx's ideas and the actions? Imagine waking up one day and your whole world is turned upside down. In 1994 in Rwanda, around 800,000 people, mostly Tutsis, were killed in just 100 days. Neighbors turned on neighbors overnight. Families were destroyed, and the streets were filled with fear. Radio broadcasts actually told people to attack their friends. It's chilling how quickly such violence spread, with people sometimes using just machetes because guns weren't everywhere. Survivors still remember hiding in churches, hoping they wouldn't be found, while others risked their lives to hide friends. The scars from those days are still visible in Rwanda today. Imagine a world where loyalty could mean life or death, and a single sword stroke decided your fate. In feudal Japan, the samurai ruled with honor, following Bushido, a strict code that shaped their every move. Minamoto no Yoshitsune was just 15 when he fought in his first battle, and Tokugawa Ieyasu united Japan after decades of chaos. Samurai carried two swords, the katana and wakizashi, showing their elite status. Some samurai, like Tomoe Gozen, a female warrior, fought beside men and became legends. Everything revolved around loyalty, family, and the threat of betrayal lurking behind. Imagine a war that tore Europe apart for 30 years, starting in 1618. The 30 Years' War wasn't just battles, it was families ripped apart, kingdoms destroyed, and generals chasing glory. Ferdinand II, the Catholic emperor, tried to stamp out Protestant uprisings, while Gustavus Adolphus of Sweden charged in, known as the Lion of the North. And there was Albrecht von Wallenstein, a mercenary who switched sides just for profit. Over 8 million people died, many from starvation and disease. Towns like Magdeburg burned to ashes, and alliances changed almost every year, no one knowing who to. Imagine a room packed with world leaders, tempers flaring as the future of Europe hangs in the balance. In 1919, the Treaty of Versailles was signed by figures like Woodrow Wilson, David Lloyd George, and Georges Clemenceau, each with their own vision for peace. Germany's leaders were forced to accept blame for World War I, pay massive reparations, and surrender territory. These decisions weren't just paperwork. They changed lives. Millions felt betrayed, resentful, and desperate. The treaty's severity would unknowingly set the stage for even bigger conflicts to come. Imagine if every clock ticked backwards. Early clockmakers like Peter Henlein didn't just make pretty gears. They set the direction time would flow forever. Why? because in the northern hemisphere, sundials cast their shadows right to left as the sun moved, so they built clocks to follow that path. The people behind this choice didn't know their design would sweep across the globe. Picture medieval towns, craftsmen hunched over brass dials, arguing over which way time should move. And just like that, every hour, minute, and second we count is a legacy from those first clockmakers, locking our days into the same circle their shadows traced. Imagine waking up in 44 BC Rome, where Julius Caesar, the most powerful man in the world, was about to walk into the Senate for the last time. The air was thick with tension, and betrayal was just around the corner. Caesar had just been declared dictator for life, a move that scared lots of senators. Did you know there were about 60 conspirators led by Brutus and Cassius? Some of them were even his friends, people he trusted. That morning, when Caesar entered, nobody knew that in just a few minutes, Rome would never be the same again. Imagine diving into the murky River Seine in 1900 with crowds roaring and the Olympic flag whipping above you. There's Frederick Lane, an Australian swimmer who has to climb over a wooden pole just to start the race. Then he battles choppy water, scrambling over a row of anchored boats while his rivals thrash behind him. Lane doesn't stop. He even ducks under another set of boats, gasping for air before he sprints to the finish. Only 12 men entered this wild 200-meter obstacle race, and Lane snatched gold in just over 2.5 minutes. Most people don't even know this event ever existed. Imagine diving into the murky River Seine in 1900 with crowds roaring and the Olympic flag whipping above you. There's Frederick Lane, an Australian swimmer who has to climb over a wooden pole just to start the race. Then he battles choppy water, scrambling over a row of anchored boats while his rivals thrash behind him. Lane doesn't stop. He even ducks under another set of boats, gasping for air before he sprints to the finish. Only 12 men entered this wild 200-meter obstacle race, and Lane snatched gold in just over 2.5 minutes. Most people don't even know this event ever existed. Imagine a world where a single man could thwart an empire's ambition. Meet Odoacer, a name less spoken, yet one that resonates through the corridors of time. In 476 AD, without the clash of swords or the roar of the battlefield, Odoacer, a barbarian chieftain, deposed Romulus Augustulus, the last Roman emperor of the West. This single act marked the end of the ancient Roman Empire and the dawn of the Middle Ages. What's fascinating is not just the fall itself, but the manner in which it occurred, almost silently, as the weight of centuries shifted with the culmination of Odoacer's initiative. The story challenges our assumptions of how empires fall, proving it is sometimes not the fiercest warriors or the grandest battles, but the quiet maneuvers of one audacious leader that change history's course. Imagine risking your life to move stones weighing tons just to build something that would last millennia. In ancient Egypt, workers led by ingenious architects like Imhotep designed tombs with secret chambers and staggering precision, creating the step pyramid over 4,600 years ago. Roman engineers led by people like Apollodorus of Damascus built the Pantheon's dome, still the world's largest unreinforced concrete dome today. In China, thousands of laborers under General Meng Tian shaped the early Great Wall, stretching over mountains, deserts, and rivers. These weren't just monuments, they were symbols of ambition, sweat, and genius. Built. Imagine the first wave of U.S. soldiers storming Utah Beach on D-Day, and leading them is a 56-year-old man, cane in hand, barely able to walk. That's Theodore Roosevelt Jr., son of President Teddy Roosevelt. He volunteered to go first, not caring about his old battle injuries or his heart problems from World War I. He was the oldest man in that first wave, and still somehow kept his cool, walking up and down the beach, giving out orders under fire. He even brought a cane because he could barely walk without it. Later, he was awarded the Medal of Honor for his courage, which is wild considering the family legacy. For centuries in Europe, cucumbers were considered fit only for livestock, earning them the nickname cowcumbers. People believed they were unhealthy, even dangerous for humans, with some health writers warning that eating raw cucumbers could cause illness, especially in children. Stories like Samuel Pepys's 1663 diary entry about a man dying after eating cowcumbers only fueled the suspicion. It wasn't until the 19th century, as food safety improved and culinary tastes changed, that cucumbers finally gained acceptance as a healthy, refreshing food for people. Today, it's hard to imagine they were ever so mistrusted.